Hello, Boris. My name's Ben, and I sincerely hope this message finds you well, sir. I hope all is going well with your plots and schemes, and that they will hopefully be of benefit to the British people. Now, I've never been one for politics. I believe us to exist in this society in a pseudo-democracy, whereupon people of the same club wear different coloured t-shirts and rotate every 4 years, or 8 if we're really unlucky. And you're essentially voting for the same thing, re-guised, rehashed, and made into what's supposed to be a very Romanesque democracy. Now, that's my own personal leaning. But of late, I've become fascinated by the mechanics of it. Now, I went to the same school as Jeremy Corbyn. I'm also greying, clearly, at an alarming rate for my 42 years. But that's where the similarities end. Completely end. I have no leftism in me at all. Equally, I'm not particularly right, and I'm certainly not the detractors in the centre. That would be hideous. So in a way, thank goodness, either the blue or the red did get in. Certainly the lesser of what I would consider most positively 3 evils. So I've got into politics basically because I've become disgruntled at some of the things that are occurring at the moment. And I don't normally speak about these things because I tend to have a fairly contentious nature with my opinions, which I'm sure you'll receive during this lovingly intended transmission. Now, when you got in, I thought, wow, here's a special guy. You know, you're coming down that zip line and playing the fool and this, that and the other. And I don't know, I found you very amiable and strong, you know, so strong that I can imagine you and I, Costa del Sol, you in your nappy with like a silver brooch embossed in the finest stolen British gold, with BJ as not only a euphemism but a statement of power. That's what I thought I was getting. Me rubbing my magical little fingers through your chest mane, you humming like a satisfied, oversized Oompa Loompa. What an image. What an image. I thought we'd stand shoulder to shoulder together, see through the Brexit. No, that didn't happen. I mean, I had images of you stood stoically, hands on hips, one leg up, looking with vitriol at the sky, like nothing could cave you. That face treading on Angela Merkel's face and rubbing it in the dirt defiantly. That's what I thought I was getting. I wanted batteries of urine cannons pointing at the English Channel, as if to say, just don't bother, don't test us. You know, we've been there before with Germany, but now it's the entirety of Europe, which ironically is pretty much just Germany. The United States of Germany, it might as well be called. That's what I wanted. I wanted power from you. I wanted to see a display of defiance, you know. And of course, it could be viewed as a midlife crisis or a nervous breakdown, you know, whatever. But I dyed my hair in honour, and so that every time I gaze into the mirror, not only do I see my own fortified face because of whom I believed in, but I also see a glimmer of you, BJ, you. But that's not what I got. It's not what I got. It's not what any of us got. Now, my wife is a nurse, okay, a very good one at that, albeit my opinion is massively biased, but I truly believe that. She's exemplary in what she does, extremely knowledgeable. Now, much as it was nice while people such as her and myself and all the other key workers kept the country going during the last 2 lockdowns, I don't think standing in a road clapping and banging pans like it's some sort of outing from the care home on the Sunshine Bus is really going to cut the mustard, to be fair. Just give them a pay rise. That would be a start. You know, we've got no lorry drivers, so there's no stock on the shelves. Why? Because they haven't been treated properly. But they have the choice to strike. You know, the Hippocratic Oath dictates, almost within the framework of legality, that they can't. The unions for health workers carry absolutely no weight other than human resource support. And that's a very slanted situation for people to be in who are doing us the greatest possible service that they could. You know, that's disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting. Moreover, the National Health Service is largely funded by, shouldn't use the word fund because it's from a separate bucket, but it's largely supported financially, shall I say, by national insurance. Now, much as I agree with an insurance for healthcare, I do believe that's the kind of talk that's kind of privatisation. Now, I've said for 20 years that the National Health Service will be privatised. It's a deliberate, systematic dismantlement of it, whereupon the situation is so bad that the government turns around like some sort of saviour and goes, I tell you what we'll do, we'll raise taxes and we will privatise it. And because the populace has become so disenfranchised from what the NHS used to be and used to resemble, it actually willingly accepts this. Problem, reaction, solution. I'm sure you've heard the equation before. So we're paying for that. I do believe it's already happened, the privatisation, but then that could be deemed a conspiracy theory, couldn't it? And, you know, I simply wouldn't hang around with people like that. So what are you going to do about that, Boris? You naughty sausage. What are you going to do? You have the power at the moment to do something. And if you don't, that's on your hands. You will be that man who goes into history as doing nothing, as standing by and shafting the working classes and the poor who have supported you and us throughout this whole chaotic episode, which I won't even start to go into. That's clearly for another transmission, which I'm sure you'll be yearning for after this. Babes. Now, the other thing is, universal credit helps the worst off of us. That's getting slashed by £20 a week. Whereupon those who, well, basically are anywhere outside of the south, same old story, huh? Who are of low earnings, simply can't exist. You know, there's people making choices now between food or heating as they face winter. It's not an acceptable place for a first world country to be, especially one of our standing, is it? You have the power to change that, and only you. You have to make that decision. And I think you've already made it. Now, let's imagine hypothetically a parent with 2 young children. The other parent goes out to work. The parent who looks after the children can't go to work because of the cost of nursery care, therefore can't pay into the system. And neither can the nursery pay into the system because they're not receiving revenue from people who don't send their kids there. They're stuck. What the hell do you expect them to do? You know, one parent is working their backside off. The other is working their backside off in a very different way, which of course is raising children, the most important thing in the world. What kind of world are they growing up into if they see mummy and daddy doing the best that they can, or daddy and daddy, you know, or mummy and mummy, whatever, doing the best that they can. And it's still not being enough. What kind of message does that send through? You know, all they've seen is grown-ups walking around in masks and talking about gonad 29 or whatever it's called. That's what they're seeing. They're seeing no food. They're wrapping themselves in blankets. Do you think that's right? That's not why I backed you at all. I thought you'd be the man to say, whoa, 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 whoa. I know we're a little bit right-wing, but hey, that's too much. You know, I mean, once the human race is fully sterilised and the utopian population of 500,000 as prophesied on the Georgia Guidestones actually occurs, I mean, a nefarious naughty monkey might think that that has something to do with needles. But again, that would be talking to the wrong bunch, the misguided ones, wouldn't it? So, be a poppet, old chum. Be a poppet. Put your hand in your pocket, or rather ours, but at least distribute it correctly. I'll put my hand in your middle pocket, if you'd like. Seriously though, seriously, please do this for us. I'm not begging you yet, but I will, as I'm sure the rest of us will, because this is categorically insufferable and unacceptable. And on that note, I would be very, very interested to hear your response and how you humanly justify that. Now, speaking of humans, because you're not showing many of the virtues of one at the moment, I watched a programme, some like stupidly forgettable thing like Bake Off, or I can't remember what it was, but your sister was on that. She's such a bubbly, warm, lovely person. And I'm just shocked at the disparity betwixt her and you at the moment. Sorry to make it personal, but this is personal for every single person who's suffering from it. So feel that for a moment. It's not pleasant, is it? It's not pleasant. You can change that for all of us. And I sincerely hope you do. Because if you don't, well, have you ever watched the film Ants? I'll leave that there. And I haven't had one of Bill Gates's jabs. Not because I don't believe in it, it's just, you know, I've chosen not to, and that's, at the moment, my free will, which I'm sure will become a crime as we move through this. That seems to be the general direction of things, sadly. But no, I haven't. I mean, I'm just sort of deeply concerned that it'll show up my wings or something. There's probably some laced venom in there, whereupon they'll become visible to others. As good a reason as any, innit? Right, Boris, as I started the message, I will finish. I sincerely hope this finds you well. And I mean that, from being to being, choosing my words carefully. Please do something about this. We might earn very little, and we might operate on the breadline to keep the country running while everybody else languishes in luxury and furlough. But we're not silly. A spade is definitely a spade. Anyway, take care of yourself and your family, and relish the fact that you're in a position to do so. We'll do the same. Bye, babes.